Welcome to Zero's Game Room, where all things gaming takes place. Interviews, discussions, and the latest gaming news. So take a seat, get comfortable, adjust your headset, because it's game time. Here's your host, Zero.
Welcome to Zero's Game Room, the podcast where we talk about all things gaming. There has been a little bit of a hiatus from the podcast, but it's definitely back, especially now more than ever at around 7 o'clock in the morning today, because this is when it's going up on Wednesday, August 8th, just to date it. We got a brand new Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Direct, but I'm not by myself. It's early in the morning, so I was able to get a good old pal of mine, a guest who's been on the show a good handful of times now, Pred. Welcome back to the show, buddy.
Whoa, thanks, Zero. Really appreciate it, man.
We're talking Smash, buddy. How do we begin?
Early in the morning?
Look, I'm sorry. I know. I appreciate the fact that you were here this early to record this, but
anything for Daddy Sakurai, man.
Anything for Masahiro Daddy Sakurai.
Daddy.
But wow, it lit off strong by like telling us a new character. We're getting Simon Belmont from Castlevania, and his Echo Fighter is gonna be Richter Belmont. Like, what?
Dude, Personally, I haven't really been seeing much of the rumors, anybody from YouTube or from Twitch or from anybody talking about what characters they want to see, but for me, from what Nintendo's been releasing, I squealed like a girl. I was like, what? Simon Belmont? I was so excited. And plus, he kept a lot of the same movesets from the first game. They have a lot of the items, the whip is back.
And I feel like they also took a lot of inspiration from it was Castlevania 4 for the Super Nintendo. See, I grew up with Castlevania, so for me, back in the day with Super Smash Bros. Brawl, and even more with Smash Wii U and 3DS, a lot of people wanted Simon Belmont. They saw him as a good fit with the whip, the weapons, and everything. So there was always a little bit of speculation, and I think in an episode that me and Grayson did together, I mentioned that I would love to see Simon Belmont. They finally did it, and the fact that they incorporate the whole Castlevania world with, like, Dracula being part of the stage, I think he's going to be a hazard. Alucard is going to be an assist trophy, and just having both Richter, because Richter is the original, technically, and then his descendants came down to Simon Belmont, and there's been a lot of Belmonts since then. Richter Belmont first, I think, made an appearance in Castlevania Dracula X for the Super Nintendo, but was also in Symphony of the Night for the PlayStation 1. You start off as Richter. But needless to say, Simon Belmont in Smash has been a long time coming.
Dude, I can't wait to play this game. I can't wait to play Simon. And then one of the things I want to hit on is that they put a lot of attention to details throughout this whole game. Even with Simon, they have the whip moving directional. And that was from Castlevania 4. Mm-hmm. And I'm so glad that they brought that back, and just that small attentions to detail, especially when you play on Dracula's Castle, which is the final screen before you attack Dracula from Castlevania 1.
From Castlevania 1 for the NES. Yeah, I love that little homage. I love it.
Even if you hit the candles, they even drop items. I was like, I didn't
catch that. I didn't catch that. Because in Castlevania 1, you'd hit the candles and you'd get hearts, which hearts in that game wasn't health. It was ammunition for your special weapons. So that's really cool. But moving on, because there was a lot of things to talk about. Then they went on to talk about two Echo Fighters, which were
Chrom from Lucina
and Dark Samus from Metroid Prime, because Metroid Prime 2 for the GameCube is where we got introduced to Dark Samus, which is going to be the Echo Fighter for Samus, and we're speculating that Chrom is the Echo Fighter for Lucina in Fire Emblem. I say assuming because it would make sense, but the thing that's tripping me up a little bit is he has a couple of movesets similar to Ike, with like the up B where he throws his sword up in the air and he flips and then he comes back down. So there's a lot of speculation. What do you think?
You know what, man? I think you're right. I want to go with Ike, but they didn't have no, like, bottom of the corner. They didn't say Echo Fighter for so-and-so. And that's where a lot of the speculation comes from. Yeah. And some people might get that confused, like other YouTubers or whatever. They might get confused on that. But I was just like, Why?
It doesn't help that there's so many Fire Emblem characters to begin with who have swords. So it's like, because like if let's just say Chrom is a like clone or an Echo Fighter, as now they're calling it. It's not a clone, it's an Echo Fighter of Lucina. Lucina's already an Echo Fighter of Marth, so you have a Echo Fighter of an Echo Fighter.
It's a clone of a clone of a clone.
Of course, yeah, that makes totally sense. So I hope they don't go down that route, and maybe he's like a crossbreed, like the best of both worlds of Marth and Ike. You know,
look,
maybe
if the Fire Emblem community ever gets mad that there's not enough, they need to shut up, because there's so many Fire Emblem characters, man. Which is a cool thing, because I'm glad that the Fire Emblem series is picking up a lot of traction here in the States. It's really cool.
Oh yeah, because when it first came out, like it was on the Game Boy Advance, it didn't make a lot of traction. It was about the one that a lot of people mention is Fire Emblem Awakening. That really blew up the series. It became very favorable to newcomers and to veterans, and I think it shed some new light. But yeah, definitely the Smash Bros. Games definitely shed some light too, because when in Melee came out, a lot of people were like, who the hell is Marth and Boy? Where are they from?
I was the exact same person. I was like, why is there an anime character in this game? What? I think I was like maybe 10 or 11. I was like, why is there like a anime dude? But
why is he a cartoon? Japanese cartoon? Why is Marth a princess? Because everybody thought Marth was a girl. And I was like, no, Marth's a dude. Get out of here.
Same, man. I thought that too, man. I'm not going to lie.
But along with the Echo Fighters, we have a bunch of stages. They showed off so many. They showed off the Brinstar Death Summit, which was from Ice Climbers, the Unova Pokemon League, a new Final Destination, new Donk City Hall from Mario Odyssey, which I haven't played, but you own.
Oh, it's really cool, man.
The thing I really like about the stages is that while they're enhancing a lot of the stages, they only lightly touch the classic stages. Like they made them modern, but they still had that old feel of the N64 days.
Yeah, that's one thing I wanted to hit on too, because it's not like the Kirby land, Dreamland. Yeah, it's not like the tree in the background. It's not that it's just so pixelated, like, oh my god, that's like 260p or something like that. It's given that like old pixel style face and everything, just so it's giving it a throwback to where it originated, and I think that's really cool from Daddy Sakurai, man.
Oh yeah, definitely. And then they introduced a lot of new things, which like they said that it's starting off with 103 new stages, but technically it includes over 300 because they can be customized. But I'm still going to go with technically there's 100, and I'm going to say 100 because the 3 are Big Battlefield, and Final Destination. So, but that's still a heck ton of a stages, and there's some cool things you can do with the stage, which on Pred, I'll let you talk about, like the whole stage morph.
Yeah, I can't wait to talk about that. But first things first, I love the stage count. There's so many. And one of the cool things that they had was Stage Morph. And Stage Morph, if you don't know what that is, they just barely released this new mode. And it's going back and forth between 2 stages. So let's say you want to get Final Destination and Kirby Dreamland. Boom, you can do that back and forth. And it has this cool transition to where it's the bottom platform, and then there's going to be 2 smaller rectangular platforms on top of the big one. Kind of like Final Destination-ish. And then that's where it's going to do that screen transition. And I was really surprised because I thought the Switch can't really handle that much, processing. But Sakurai, man, he must really know what he's doing with this system. And he's just pumping out as much juice as he can. And one thing I also want to point on with the stages is that it's going to be all unlocked. So the only thing that you need to worry about is the characters being unlocked.
Right. And actually, you know what? As I was watching it, now thinking about it, because I feel like I've seen that transition before. Do you remember the stage Castle Siege from Super Smash Bros. Brawl?
I want to say I do.
That was the one. It was a Fire Emblem one. It was like a little platform. There was some war going in the background. but there were transitions, and it's very, very similar to Fire Emblem's Castle Siege stage from Brawl. I think they brought it back in the 3DS. I'll definitely have to show you after, but that's definitely the vibes I got when the transition. It like goes all to white, and it smoothly transitions into a new stage. And the fact that you can pick 2 stages and it'll just freely transition between the 2 definitely adds so much when it comes to like, I'm not thinking about competitively right now. I'm just thinking about, because there's no way they would do that. Competitive, it's always Final Destination, Fox 3, 3 lives, no items. But for like fun sake, this is gonna create a lot of fun times with you and your friends playing in front of a TV in the living room or whatever. Like, this is gonna add some mania to it. Like, I think that's really cool what they're doing with the stages. They're implementing more. And as for the 300 stages that I was talking about earlier, the only reason it's technically 300 is because you can customize them to have that Omega form where it's just a platform. You could basically turn any stage theme into a Final Destination type map, I guess, if you could say, because that's essentially what they're being, to do. But alongside with the stages is the amount of music. You can't have a stage without music.
Oh, of course. And from what it looks like, it's going to be over 800 hours of music. And that's not including the menu music, the fanfares, because, man, there's just so much music. And plus, if you ever want to get some samples of the music, if you're a content creator or maybe you just like some of it and you want like to edit with it, they're going to have some of the music types on the website for you to grab for free. And I think that's very cool for content creators because that's going to make the game even shine brighter. And for those that want to use that music background when they're talking or whatever they want to do. So I think Smash knows what it's doing. And I can't wait for them to come out even more features and even more stuff. I'm just so excited, man. I kind of want to cry.
I know, right? Because they're bringing back the My Music system from Super Smash Bros. Brawl, which, yes, 800 tracks, technically 900 if you're counting all the main menus and stuff. So 800 tracks, it was like, what, 28 hours worth of music or something like that?
Yeah, I think that's for the 800 hours. They're like over 28 hours.
No, it was 800 tracks. It's 800 tracks, not hours.
Oh, okay.
800 tracks. And it's about it's okay, buddy. And it was about 28 point something hours worth of music. So that's a lot of music to be put on a game. But not only that, going back to the My Music system, back in Super Smash Bros. Brawl, each stage had a set amount of music, and with the My Music functionality, you could move this slider left and right, left being you didn't want to hear it as often, or if you went all the way left, you wouldn't hear that song on that stage, and right, more to the right, you'd hear it more often, or if you put it all the way right, it was most likely going to be the one you'd always hear if you turned all the other ones off. I like that they're bringing that back because this time they're doing it a little bit different. The music is not based on stage. The music is based on series. So if there's 2 Legend of Zelda stages, they will have identical music. So you don't have to be like, oh, man, I really like the Wind Waker theme, but I can only hear that if I'm on the boat. No, now you can hear it on whatever stage you goddamn want. I think that's freaking fantastic. Customization is there. Not like this is why Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is so ultimate. It's giving you so much creativity and giving you so much to play with to make it your own Smash experience. Also, Nintendo Switch music player, take it on the go. Throw it in your purse, ladies.
No.
Plugins.
There's no reason to have it. I'll tell you why. Because with the battery life that the Switch has, as a Switch holder, man, I think that it maybe lasts about 5 to 3 hours. I think that's the most I get from just playing it straight.
Yeah,
that's just me taking it when I'm at the station or whatever.
Right.
I'll play it, but I'm not going to use that to waste any more battery.
That big old brick of yours, put it in your purse, ladies. Listen to some hot tunes of Super Smash Brothers.
Yeah, put it in your butt pocket, man.
Oh yeah, that's definitely what I'm gonna do. Are you kidding me? Of course. Why would I not?
But you know what? I really like the customization part. Like you said earlier, I think as just a casual fan and also as a fan that haven't played the last game of Smash, I think this is a really cool series. I know I wouldn't want to touch the menu for the music and stuff, but I think that I'm so glad I have the options to choose all the music options I could possibly want. And they even they even brought new modes that were coming out.
Oh yeah, talk about a couple of those new modes.
So, the one unique thing about Smash Brothers was that when you choose a character, it's just that character, no matter what it is. And it was brought by having that fun feeling like, hey, you can use items, you can use this, compared to other traditional games like Street Fighter and all that stuff. But now they brought Squad Strikes, and that's you choosing 3 different characters or even 5 different characters with one stock, and you can go head to head with 5 different characters or 3 different characters.
As one goes down, and then it's very reminiscent, I think, more of Marvel vs. Capcom. You know how like one of your characters dies and then the other one jumps in?
Yeah, that is really cool. I can't wait to mess with that mode and whoop your butt.
You ready to throw down, huh?
Yeah, man, I know I'm gonna win.
There's a lot of good different modes now that they're adding, like Squad Strike, as you mentioned, 3 versus 3, 5 versus 5. There's obviously going to be a tournament mode. Smashdown, which makes battles very versatile. Like you two people each pick a character. Whoever wins, wins. But now those 2 characters can't be selected for the next battle.
Yes.
Let's see. They brought in a whole bunch of new weapons, which I won't get too much into. Just know that one of my favorites was the Killing Edge from Fire Emblem. But another cool item that they brought in when it comes to like the Pokeball was they're bringing in Alolan Executor, Abra, Solgaleo, Lunala, Mimikyu, Pyukumuku, Vulpix, Alolan Vulpix, Marshadow, Ditto. All these items are they're just amping up everything. New Pokemon and everything. And probably the part that made me explode the most and cry very shortly afterwards
I think I know which one you're talking about.
were the assist trophies.
Oh, they were lovely. Zero, aren't you happy? Your character's in the game. Zero, why aren't you happy, buddy?
But he's just an assist trophy. Put Zero in Smash! Where's Zero in Smash? He's in it. Yeah, Mega Man Zero, my character that I love to death, was shown as an assist trophy.
Hey, man, at least now you can relate to the Waluigi squads, man.
Oh, get
Isn't
out
that great?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
put Zero before Waluigi. Yes, I call them Waluigi.
Waluigi. While Zero said, they brought Knuckles as an assist trophy, Crystal the Fox is back, Gray Fox from Metal Gear, Shovel Knight as another assist trophy, Moon from Zelda as another assist trophy.
That one looks scary as heck.
Yo, that was intense, man. He's like in the background, he's like slowly going in, and the more he gets close to the stage, the more fire. Yeah, it was like a Dragon Ball. I was like, ooh.
I know, right? Which is very reminiscent of The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask, because that's how the moon. You look up and the moon's just like, hey. Hey, buddy. Hey, man.
Hey, buddy. I'm going to hit you.
I'm going to hit you. Which you actually used to be able to see him in the Great Bay stage from Melee, which, of course, is going to be in this one. But, yeah, it was kind of creepy. But go on. There was actually one more assist trophy that made it very interesting.
You know what? There's one assist trophy that actually has an interesting background, and I believe that's Nikki.
Oh, Nikki. Nikki of Swap. No. Oh, poor Nikki. See, a lot of people might not know where Nikki is from. There used to be an app for the 3DS called Swap Note, where you could exchange messages with Street Pass or Spot Pass with your friends, but Street Pass would be obviously strangers. And there was an incident. I won't get into it because it's a little not PG friendly, but you could look it up, and unfortunately it had to be disabled because of it. But as you can probably imagine, messaging with strangers could lead to some bad things. So
yeah, well, on the plus side, they brought back a boss character. Do you know which one it is?
It's Zero? Rathalos from Monster Hunter, who is not only an assist trophy in this game, he's also a boss, which I'm assuming you'd fight at some point in classic mode.
Yes. And this is where I'm assuming a lot of things that in classic mode, they're bringing that back, but I assume that's where you're going to lock most of your characters. And then maybe finding the Echo characters by, I don't know, hitting the sandbag, 500 meters.
They're going to make us do so many things, but with time we'll be able to unlock them. And the last thing we want to touch about before we wrap things up is they talked about one more new character at the end. King K. Rool is finally in Smash Brothers from the Donkey Kong Country series.
Woo!
And I grew up with Donkey Kong Country 2. Also in the not as a number 2. I grew up with the series as well on the Super Nintendo. And seeing this guy now brought to life in this, see, I feel like they're giving a lot of these old boss-like characters new life and just old classic stuff. King K. Rool, Ridley's gonna be in Smash, and now with Simon Belmont, like a lot of old-timey NES, Super Nintendo characters are getting to fight, and that makes me really happy to see these guys into Smash Brothers Ultimate.
I think they're just bringing back so many characters because even if you're a fan of the old series, well, I like this character. Well, now you have a reason to buy this game. If you like King K. Rool, well, now you can buy this game. I think they're putting so many characters in this game from old series, new series, putting in new stuff. So you don't have a reason not to buy this game. And I think it's very smart of Sakurai and of Nintendo to put so much characters, so much love from old and new, so that you can have that nostalgia, or even if you were a kid back then and didn't even have a kid now, you can experience that nostalgia with them and say, oh man, I remember the stage when I was a kid. And then that could be a talking point for you or for whoever. I think this is a really cool game. And man, they put so much money, not money, but so much worth into this game. And it's really surprising.
It's definitely going to be probably Game of the Year type of thing because...
Hands down.
Hands down. I need to get a Switch. What am I doing with my time?
I know.
You're definitely going to get your money's worth with this game. For the amount of content that's in here.
Jeez, man.
It's going to just blow. Yeah. And the worst part is, we don't even know everything yet. We know a good portion, and Sakurai did say he wants a majority of all the characters, if not all the characters, released by the time, known before this game is launched. But who knows what surprises, because nobody thought in their right mind that Ridley was going to show up in Smash, and
oh no,
Sakurai made it happen. He used to be a boss in Smash Bros. Brawl, and now look at it.
Dude, I can't wait to get this game. I really can't wait to get this game, and I feel like you should get a Switch so you can feel bad when you're 0 and 10 because I'm beating you so much.
No, I thought you were going to throw another Zero joke at me, the fact that I don't get to play as him. And then you'll probably end up summoning him, and I'll scream and cry and throw a fit and be like, no!
No, man, him being an assist trophy is already a joke in itself. But a talking point that I don't want to get to with you before we wrap up.
Yeah,
sure. Do you think you're going to get your money's worth in this game?
I think so. Because there's so much content, so much replayability, and so many things you can experience for the price tag. It almost makes any other Smash Brothers obsolete, other than the people who love Melee. Melee is best game, Master Race. Game. But other than that, what reason do you have going to any other? Smash Bros. Brawl for what? You have all the characters, all the stages. You don't need the tripping. Smash Wii U and 3DS. You can argue Smash Ultimate is mobile now, so I don't see a point to them. So I think you are getting your money's worth. It's everything you've ever wanted in Smash in a one neat package.
Yes, and one thing that I also want to touch on is that I don't want people to say, oh, well, the Switch is just the Smash Brawl or Smash Ultimate machine. You have Mario Odyssey, you have Zelda Breath of the Wild, you have so many other games.
Other games, so no, that's definitely
if you invest your Switch now to get Smash Brothers and you just wait and maybe have some money issues and you wait a little bit while, there's going to be other games that for you to love, and I think that you'll still be happy buying the Switch regardless if Smash Brothers comes out or not.
Yeah. And something very scary, we should really wrap this up, otherwise we're going to keep going, is could this potentially be the last Smash? Could it?
I think this might be the last Smash with Sakurai, and I think this could be the last Smash, the last great Smash.
It's possible. We're not saying it's impossible, but I mean, how do you top this? How?
I don't know. Do you put more characters? Do you, like what he said?
I mean, this is Ultimate. Be the last... This isn't just Smash Bros. Whatever. It's Ultimate. So is it ultimately the end? I guess we'll have to wait and see. But thank you so much, Ompred, for being on the show. I appreciate your time, waking up early and being on the show.
Oh, man, you owe me some McDonald's, man.
Fine, I'll take you out to breakfast. All right, take care, everybody, and we'll see you guys in the next episode of Zero's Game Room.
Bye.
Well, that wraps up another episode of Zero's Game Room. Want to give a special thanks to my graphics designer at Trekit on Twitter and at David_Ritter for voicing my intro. Keep up to date with the podcast by liking it on Facebook at Zero's Gaming Room and on Twitter at Zero's Game Room. Until next time, GG with a definite re.